good evening, one and all, and welcome to another edition of Cop Talk TV. And like I always tell you, peoples, win, lose or draw, we are always here, man. We don't shim, we don't hide. We're here, man. Yeah, we're here today. And I know there'll be a few haters about today, but you know what? Bring it on. That's what I say. Bring it on, man. So good evening, Stony son. How we doing?
I'm good. I just think the my current mood is displayed underneath my name on the screen. So hope everybody's able to see that. That's currently how I'm feeling in terms of Liverpool. But I'm I'm back and I'm ready for this evening show. I think it's going to be a blast.
Okay. Good evening, Preds. How we doing, sir?
Good evening, good evening. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you all right, mate.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate because I didn't really want to speak too much tonight.
Yeah, I could imagine.
It says
Doctor,
it's the
hey,
six.
Dr. Blake. Good evening, Dr. Blake. How are we doing, sir?
Yeah, I've been better, man. I've been better. As I said earlier, my carnival shred hasn't started yet because this team are forcing me to eat chocolate and be drinking pina coladas on a Thursday evening. So yeah, right now the man's got worries and stress. So yeah, that's how we are right now. Sending him to the barbers. It's been 3 or 4 months. Like it's just a wreck. It's just a wreck right now. Hard times. Dry crisis the moments, but that's where we are right now.
That springs to mind for real. I'm telling you. So, big Merseyside derby needed to keep the pressure up on Arsenal, and we go out there and put in a real inept performance. To be honest, I'm all right. I'm just going to start off like this. To be fair, personally, I feel Jurgen got it wrong. He changed around the side last week. People said he did that to give the big boy players a rest. But the players that he brought in came in, performed, and won the game well. They looked hungry, looked energetic, won the game 3-1. And then you go and change the game and bring in these boys, some of these boys back who haven't been performing. Tell me your views, people.
Well, the one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tony.
No, you go ahead, Greg. You go ahead.
I'll keep it short and sweet. Like I saw the lineup, and I think I saw the comment that someone put in. I don't know whether it was you, Lee, in regards to the midfield. And I thought to myself, you're going into the Merseyside derby with that midfield. And that was a catalyst, I think. I think when Everton saw the team sheet and they saw that kind of midfield, I'm thinking they must have got a massive, they must have thought, yeah, right, let's go. So I was thoroughly disappointed with the lineup, with the performance as well. And I think I think Jurgen, in a way, handed Arsenal, Man City the chance to go and say, yeah, you know what, you go and do your bit, because I don't understand was anyone injured yesterday apart from Jota? Like, why are you not playing Endo? But yeah, Stoney, you go, mate.
I almost had a contrast in feelings. So obviously we would have been aware that Alisson's return back. We always knew that was going to be there. I actually thought Gomez was going to start on the left hand side instead of Andy Robinson. I think since he's returned back from injury, I think he's been coasting. I'll be honest, when I actually saw the midfield, as he said, in contrast to Preds, I was actually quite happy with it. I was quite happy with it. And also the front three. I think we've had conversations about how non-productive Darwin and Luis Diaz have been in recent games, but I was actually happy with the starting lineup. And that's even looking at what we were up against in terms of Everton's midfield. But as we know, things just change very quickly. So I'll extend on that later on in the show.
Okay, Doctor.
Yeah, so I think because of the form of the team in recent weeks, I've been really struggling to understand what is a good Liverpool team, what's a good front three, what's a good midfield. So I think at this point in time, I'm unsure about who I actually want to see playing because I think you're having to factor in individual qualities. You're having to also factor in then, I guess, just the actual balance of the team. So what I would say though is, in my opinion, this is Klopp strong. Like I think for Klopp, this is his strongest 11. So you basically got a manager with 5 games left of the season who is able to field his strongest 11 as he's pushing for the title. So I just think that's optimal conditions for Klopp. Because let's be real, we might have our views around do we need to sign the number 6, Caicedo, Endo, is he good enough? But ultimately, this has been Klopp's strongest midfield. Start the season until there were injuries, it was Mac 10 holding, Szoboszlai, Curtis. This is his strongest front three. So I just think, and it's his strongest back four and his strongest goalkeeper. So Jurgen had his strongest lineup in his mind for him to go and perform. And that's what he's picked.
Yeah, but they've not been performing. This is what I'm saying. They've not been performing. And Nunes hasn't been performing. Right? Salah hasn't been performing. So you can't, and what do you call it? Curtis hasn't been performing. So I don't give a month's whether that was your strongest side. That was your strongest side then, but right now it's not.
I agree with you.
And that's the difference, right? And this goes back to what we've been speaking about for how many years on this channel. Is there too much loyalty?
Yeah. It's a valid point. Because I think,
because remember, you mentioned it how many times, Doctor, that we would have still had Milner and Jordan Henderson
and
at the club this season. But my thing is this: you play players on merit, man. So imagine that now. A man like Gravenberch comes in, scores a banger and whatever. Gakpo came in, added an assist and whatever, did well, and you're back to the bench and then you watch them perform like that.
And I think actually as well, a lot of eyes were raised with the Fulham team, but I think actually what you saw with the Fulham team, with Harvey starting from the right of the free and moving wide when necessary, Trent playing this free role, Pirlo thing. I'm not quite sure if I like it or not anymore. But then Diaz is holding width, so you just had this balance against Fulham. Whereas it might not be in our best 11, but we had a level of balance. Trent's going to come into midfield. Harvey's going to hold the width. And when he doesn't hold the width, Diaz is staying there. So it always felt like we just had options left or right. So I just think against Fulham, the balance of the team looked good. Whereas I just think in recent weeks, especially yesterday, the balance is all over the shop. Trent's coming way into midfield. Salah's having to hold width. He hasn't got the explosive pace to beat his man anymore. So why is he holding the... It's just not flowing. It's just not flowing. And I think this is what we're kind of seeing right now.
Definitely.
And you know what's quite interesting as well, Doctor, what you just mentioned there. To my knowledge, just against the Fulham, it would have been the first time this season that Luis Diaz actually started as the right-sided forward as opposed to the left-sided forward. I don't know whether Gakpo was injured or not, but I mean, he didn't even make the bench against Everton. So
apparently what I heard is he was at the birth of his child.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
I think, like, you know, in one degree, I agree with what Dr. Blater said, but then in the other hand, I agree with what Artie's saying. Like, yeah, at some period of time, that was our best midfield at some period of time. But then time has elapsed, and at the point where I think we've discovered that Endo has been a huge contributor to a degree of Liverpool's form in respect of that, and having that little bit of feel. Szoboszlai started really well with the season. He's had that now period where it's kind of seems like he's run out of gas a little bit and run out of ideas slightly. And Curtis Jones, look, he's, like you said, he's done really well. He's got injured, but he's not hit the peak. He's not hit the kind of the performances that he did prior to his injury. So for me, it was a surprise to put Curtis Jones, even though he's a local lad. It was still a bit of a surprise for him to be starting, and I would have been a lot more secure with Endo starting in there. And then and then you're pushing Mac 10 a little bit further, because Mac 10 has actually shown going forward he's our one creative midfielder who can pickpocket open doors and play through lines, and it just seemed a bit.
And this is exactly what you need playing against a team like Everton at Everton, who you know are going to sit back. You know they're going to put two banks behind you, so you need to try and break them down. So you want their most creative players playing as close to their goal as possible, causing havoc.
Yeah, and it's almost like they've kind of we've gone in the opposite direction in regards to, right, let's put Mac 10 as a holder so he gets more time on it. You know, but then you got Trent coming in. It's almost Trent and Mac 10 were kind of playing side by side, and some of the balls Trent was putting in was delightful. But then ultimately we had chances as well, and we let the we didn't utilise it enough in regards to the chances we had. They were hit straight at Pickford, or we wasted chances. Like Salah, he tried to put that ball across the goal. I'm thinking, listen, I'm never going to tell Salah what to do and how to do it, but it seemed like at that angle where we got the ball, I'm thinking, swing your foot, mate. Like, that's got to go in goal instead of going across. But he's made the decision. The Everton defenders made a great interception. We just wasn't clinical enough, man.
Do you remember?
Good evening. Our very own amateur football podcast, very own Tabrice. Big shouts goes out to you, and a big shout goes out to Mr. VW. And you're damn right. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one, because boy, there's a hell of a lot to talk about and a hell of a lot of things to get off people's chest today. I'm telling you.
Just on the balance thing, I was just going to say, like, do you remember there was the start of this calendar year, and I think I can't remember why we mentioned it, but we were talking about the idea that potentially Mac 10's rise in form coincided with Trent being absent from the team, right? And I guess the thinking was, with Trent being absent from the team, more of our players throwing through Mac 10. So, so then my thing yesterday, and listen, everyone knows that I'm Trent's biggest fan, but my thing yesterday is you're playing a ball-playing number 6 and sacrificing on physicality, which is needed for a derby. But then you've then got a right back inverting and doing the Pirlo role, who's just going straight to the front players and missing out the ball playing number 6. So then Matt 10's not even in the game one, because Trent's just going long, and don't get me wrong, is creating chances, but it's almost just like the pieces aren't fitting together.
That's right.
It's like, don't play
square pegs, man.
Yeah, I feel like, why play Matt 10 as a ball playing 6, and then Trent's going to come in and field next to him and be playing Pirlo? It's almost like you're playing Pirlo and Xavi together. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. One's going long, one wants to play short, one who wants to play short, can't get on the ball. And I think this is just where it's just not coming together. Like, in my opinion, you'd have been better off playing Gomez as a number 6, because at least he's just going to jump and kick, man, and he doesn't want the ball. He's just going to try and stop counter attacks and be physical. But you're playing Matt 10 for his ball playing, then you're not giving him the ball to actually
making Gomez sound like Jackie Chan out here, bro. Just jumping.
Yeah, but I think that's what it needed yesterday. It needed someone to be physical, to stop Albert Lewin from taking these running jumps, and it's just like,
100%, yeah, 100%.
I don't know, man.
It's happening again, man. Like, Gomez was another one, been having a great season, and now like your star boys are back benched. He's another one. It's a prime example, man. And you're benching these guys who are coming back and they've got no form. Coming back from injury, they've got no form, and you're benching them for someone who is actually in form, which is for me is crazy. And
physical.
Yeah, and that's right. And he's physical, and he's got pace as well. It's absolutely crazy, man. Crazy. I think that he messed up yesterday with the team selection, as far as I was concerned.
Because I thought against Fulham, I think Robbo had a pretty good game against Fulham, but I just think it's been clear to everyone that Robbo and Diaz have got zero chemistry. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. And I think where the Gomez and Diaz thing works is because obviously Gomez is coming in the field to form that kind of like number 6, and he's just letting Diaz hold the wing and say, "You go and do your thing." So it gives us defensive shape, and we've got physical presence to stop counter attacks. Whereas yesterday, Robbo's giving Diaz the ball so he can play wide, and Robbo's running into the number 9 position. I'm like, you've scored 1 goal for us, I think. Why is a team shape making the player who cannot shoot end up in the number 9 position? I'm like, make it make sense, Jurgen and Pep. Why is Robbo running in midfield to play number 9? Yeah, anyway.
Big shouts goes out to Mr. Demas. Says, good evening, gents. Big shouts goes out to you, Demas. What are you saying? You still say Arsenal's going to win it? Huh? Still on it? Let me know, man. Let me know in the comments. In the comments, man.
Life,
remember, people's like, share, and subscribe. Have your say, man. We got a lot to say, man. Did Klopp get it wrong yesterday with this team selection? Are the players doing him short? Are they still playing for him? Is Salah already on the plane to Saudi for the big money?
Do you know something? I'm going to say something quite. I don't know whether it's going to be controversial, but this is how I actually felt from watching that game yesterday. Right, I actually felt that tactically, Klopp got outplayed yesterday, and I felt that from Braithwaite scored in the first half, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. So I felt it probably around the period of time that Braithwaite actually got that goal, and the series of play before that, my opinion was that Van Dijk made an error which allowed Braithwaite and everybody to get through, right? But the reason why I felt like tactically Klopp got outplayed yesterday, right? I mean, even though I wasn't on the show last week, I think we mentioned it the week before about when we play against a team that we know is going to play a low block, how does Liverpool actually approach that play? All right. So we knew that Everton was going to be possibly play with a low block yesterday. And for me, it was interesting, our approach. What Dice did against Liverpool yesterday was they actually man-marked our players. And I've never, ever seen that in a game before. When you have an opportunity, go back and watch the game, right? McNeil and Guy over on the left-hand side, they were man-marking Dominic. Doucouré pushed up to man-mark McAllister, and then Garner and Harrison man-mark Jones, which meant that in no period of the game were our midfield able to get the ball. And Calvert-Lewin, he played. Remember, there was a season before he got injured, and I think he was breaking into the England squad. He was quite physical and scoring a lot of goals. Was it when Ancelotti was there?
Yeah, it was.
That season. That is the closest that I've seen Dominic Calvert-Lewin play at that form. Just my opinion. He roughed up. Van Dijk got roughed up against when he played against Fulham. Was it Mateta, the striker for Crystal Palace? Sorry, for Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
I think Van Dijk got run ragged yesterday by Calvert-Lewin. But as I said, the main feature for me was the way that Sam Allardyce had set up to man-mark all 3 of our midfielders. They were out of the game completely. They were absolutely run ragged. And I think in that area, we saw it from before the Braithwaite goal, and it continued right up until the end of the game. We just played clueless yesterday.
Very good. But my thing is this as well, though. I think you'd have stood more of a chance if you played players who were actually informed. Dominic's not been informed, and you brought him back into the team. Leave him on the bench, bro. Leave him on the bench. Curtis Jones hasn't been doing jack. Leave him on the bench. The only one I would have left in it is McAllister.
Yeah. Sean Dyche
in there.
Yeah, Sean Dyche had a number on the slot in regard. But I think what Stoney's saying about BVD is absolutely right. But then I think BVD needed help. He needed someone around saying, right, you know what? Yeah, I might be getting thingy. I might be getting beaten up out here. But he needed someone else to come to the forefront and take the game by the scruff of the neck and say, right, take this pressure off of me because, listen, at the end of the day, VVD are still considering the best defender in the world. However, they clearly had a game plan, all right, and the game plan was clearly working. This is what we needed someone in regards to Salah, Darwin, Diaz, to then, as a front 3, take that pressure away from, them, kind of cut them at their knees, and we didn't. We didn't do that. And
Kanate can't even help him because of where Trent's playing. So Kanate is covering over on the right because Trent's not there.
But then it goes back to what I was saying as well, Artie, about the setup for me about Klopp. Calvert-Lewin was happy going up against two of our, in my opinion, two of our most experienced centre backs. Obviously, we know Matip's out, but I think going into this game, even though we know Jarrell's played quite a lot of games and I think he's had a really good season, I was actually happy with the centre back pairing of Van Dijk and Konate. But Calvert-Lewin has said, you know what, I'm ready for both of you. And I think he actually, in my opinion, I think he actually rose to the occasion. It's very rare that you actually see Van Dijk quite flustered and quite frustrated. I mean, he ended up getting a yellow card for getting engaged in a verbal confrontation, and you very rarely see Van Dijk in that actual situation. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is, as Prez was saying, with Trent obviously stepping up and coming into midfield. Even Van Dijk was over on the left-hand side of our defence. He kept track. It was shocked. I don't know what happened yesterday. He kept actually following Calvert-Lewin over to the right-hand side of midfield as opposed to letting Konate actually take him. So therefore, we always had that area essentially where we were void of any central defenders. I just couldn't understand it. I really couldn't understand it yesterday.
Good points, Stoney. Still, very good points.
Bree says we can't let Arsenal win the league.
Harry Kane for life.
Stoney 100% right about Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He manhandled VVD. And Demas says no, it's the citizens to lose. At least you're honest, man. You see, that's one Arsenal fan I can take, and I ain't gonna lie. He doesn't beat up his chops like that. He's very humble. I must say, Demas. I got mad love for Demas, man. Big up Demas. He's not like the rest of them. I won't mention no names, Tipper and them, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
Well, what I would say on Stoney's point, though, and I think, look, everyone knows that Van Dijk's kind of biggest fanboy, pause and that. And even with Konate, who obviously struggled yesterday as well, but if I just think about what Liverpool centre-backs have to do in comparison to our rivals, Villa, City, Arsenal, Spurs a bit different because they also play the high line. But just those three clubs, like our centre backs are constantly having to work. It's like you've got to do nothing to get through to them. So it's almost just like, sorry.
Oh, no, sorry, sir. I just want to put up my hand and just put a point on that.
Yeah.
Actually, before you go any further, I just want to put a point on that.
Yeah, go on.
Listen, one of the reasons why we have to constantly work is because when the ball goes forward, it doesn't stick with Darwin. So what happens is, obviously, the ball just comes back at you. The ball needs to stay up front. If the ball stays up front, then you'll be doing less work at the back, but the ball is not sticking. He can't keep the ball. So it just keeps coming back at you.
That wasn't even just Darwin in the last game, because...
No, it wasn't just him. It wasn't just Salah as well.
Yeah, Godfrey had a sterling game up against Luis Diaz.
Godfrey have a sterling game.
That's what I'm saying. But even worse still,
this guy.
Mikalenko played with a cigar up against Salah yesterday.
Come on.
I think a lot of players have been playing with a cigar against Salah in the last few months. We don't sustain attacks, and the decision in respect of the final third, the ball retention in the final third. People say about the defense, but if your defense is not getting a break, not getting a rest, because the ball keeps coming back every single time.
Yeah.
At one point the defense there's gonna be a bit of a leak within the defense. The problem is up front. We've got the ball in midfield, it goes up front, and we cannot retain the ball and sustain attacks.
And do you know how disheartening that must be for your players at the back as well? Oh, what? We've gotten the ball, we've worked hard to get the ball, it's got up front, and he's lost it again? What, again? Come on, man.
But going back, Doctor, you were going to say, and I do apologize, you were going to say something about Luis Diaz's performance. I mean, apart from he would have had the free shots, and he hit the woodwork yesterday as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think it was in the
Yeah.
second half of the shot.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think he only had 2 shots. One of them were blocked and one of them were saved. So regardless, but go ahead. I do apologize. You were going to
Yeah,
mention
no,
about
I was just going to say, I thought, so the end product still lacking, but I thought his overall game was good. And I think he pushes teams back. So I think he is the one player in the front three who does retain the ball.
Mhm.
So yeah, and I think that is it Godfrey?
Yeah.
I think when he was 1v1 against Diaz, I think he struggled quite a lot, and Diaz put him under pressure and was always forcing him back. I just think what we're not doing cleverly is we're not creating conditions to isolate Diaz against him. Robbo's in the same space. It's not clear who should be there. And I think this is why I like when Jones plays the left back. So Gomez, is because it then just concentrates our play in the midfield. So we've got that wall there, and then it leaves Diaz just to go and do your thing. But even on, and we're going to come to it, obviously. So we're not going to focus on Darwin's end product or lack of it. But even in that, Diaz takes the ball on the right-hand side, shimmies, beats his man, comes in field. So I think he beats at least one player, comes in field, finds an incisive pass that then leads to the pass that then leads to the thing. So I still think his build-up play is good. It's just the other stuff, obviously, like his end product needs to be better. But at least
I think that concern. Sorry, Dr. Blake, but that's a concern when 1 out of 3 players is doing the one in regards to the build-up play, the one who's trying to do assist, and he's also, admittedly, okay, he wasn't clinical enough in regards to his thingy. But then, what's happened to Nunes and Salah? Like, what are you doing? What are they doing? Like Nunes, listen, we got to say it. We got to say it right. Like, a transfer fee doesn't signify a player in regards to what they should be doing. But in actual fact, yes, in that situation, absolutely. Like Nunes is a spearhead of our attack, and he should be putting in goal. He should be scoring goals. He should be in a position to be scoring goals. He should be the forward who is holding our line together. He's not progressing. He's not developing as a forward that is going to run our line, and he's going to be the one who's going to be the focal point of our attacks. And then you got Salah. Like you say, I think he's got more than one eye on the exit.
Oh, definitely. Okay, VW. VW says our true reality is that this was a transition season where the team exceeded their real levels for most of the season. If we're honest, though, we are most probably the 3rd best team in the league. Okay.
I saw that point raised earlier. I
You
disagree
agree
with
with
that quite strongly,
You disagree with that?
Yeah, and so I will accept that. I think City have got better players than us, and they are a better team. I think Arsenal are a better team than us, but I don't think so. I guess I'm saying we are 3rd, but I don't think their players are better than us. So I know we've had a transitional. So I know we've had a transitional moment last season where we've obviously changed around the midfield. But I'm saying if our manager's been here for 9 years, we've just changed around the midfield. And I know that's obviously a key part of the team. But for me, it's slightly unacceptable that they are a better team than us based on the fact of the stability that we've had, the individuals that we've got, and just where we should be as a club. So, yeah, but I think you have to accept that Arsenal are a better team than us, but I just don't think they should be based on the resources that we've got and the time together that a lot of these players have been together. So, yeah, I know we've got a new midfield, but I think we're going to talk about
and another point in that as well, that Vinny's obviously raised about Liverpool being a transition, and Dr. Blake's obviously articulated his viewpoint on that. In terms of that, this is just my opinion, yeah. Regardless of whether it was deemed as being a transitional period, for me, we would have had an extra year that Diaz was there, and we would have had an extra season that Nunes was there as well. For me, the gilt edge issue that I've had with our team, 2 things. 1, we're conceding way too much goals. And 2 seasons ago, we weren't. We were way more solid. So this season we've conceded way too much goals, and we've scored a lack of goals. The opportunities that the team's created, whether it's being created from our midfield, whether it's being created from our defense, or any transition or combination of our forwards, we are just not clutch in front of goal. That's my main concern. So you can have a transition, and that transition would definitely have been from our midfield, but our forward line has been quite similar. So, and I think that's where we've been guilty, and that's not necessarily to do the coaching staff, it's to do the managers. Some of our players need to take a look at themselves. They need to take blame and ownership of that.
Yeah, I think in respect to the third best team, like, we can talk about the players and the systems and the philosophy of play. However, goals change games, and if you think about out of the top, the three sides, I do believe that we've had a large degree of more chances or attempts on goal than Arsenal and City. So, as Tony says, if we transfer that, if you then flip that on the other side and think, well, if we converted those chances,
Jesus Christ,
then that alleviates.
Half of them, Prince.
Yeah. That has a knock-on effect in regards to that. Then alleviates the problem of conceding more goals, and fundamentally, problem we haven't converted. We haven't been clinical enough, which is now obviously become a real impact. It's having a real impact in our title chances.
Yeah, and I think going back to one of the points that I was raised earlier about how much work our defense has to do, I think we actually take liberties with Van Dijk because we know he's so good. But we can always just create situations where he's often going to be 1v1 or 1v2, or our centre backs are going to be 2v2. You never see City centre backs 2v2 or Arsenal centre backs 2v2. But the point I would make, going back to, I think, how good we are, is I'm looking at Alisson, Van Dijk, and Mo Salah. Trent a bit different because of the parts of his game that aren't as good. But those three are bona fide in contention for Premier League all-time teams. Like, City don't have that in their team. Okay, KDB, maybe even Rodri. They've got one. Arsenal don't have any. We've got three players who start for us who are rightfully considered the best players in the world in their positions. And in someone like Van Dijk, the best overall defender. So I think at some point in time, you have to look at it and be like, how do we have this elite level of talent and we're not better equipped as a team? Like, and I think sometimes we play this underdog routine sometimes because that's what we used to be, but actually our players are levels and we should demand more from them sometimes. So I hear what Vinny's saying, but I'm just saying, yeah, for the individual quality that some of our players possess, I think like we should have been better and more consistent at various phases of the last 2 to 3 years. That's my own, but yeah, I feel quite strongly about that.
So VW goes and say, I've been one of Nunes' biggest supporters, but he's been poor in the most clinical of times. Diaz is not effective in the end product. And then he goes and say, this is why I say we're the third best. Our quality of conversion rate has left us in this position. Mr. Thought of the Day, welcome on board, sir. Nice to have your ears. Evening, fellas, it's time to accept that our front three is just not good enough at this moment in time. And there's also some people that need to go. Mr. Thought of the Day, please put it in the comments. Who are these people that you think that need to go? Darwin, I don't want to be cancelled, so I won't say anything.
Right?
So I know Teresa's got a lot to say on this one here, mate.
Right?
Please, man, we are an open forum. After the watershed, say what you need to say, my brother. Yeah, say what you need to say. Don't worry, man. Feel free.
I've been like Vinny in regards to, being an advocate for Darwin Nunes. But it's like what you want to see, like anyone wants to see, from the start of the season and the progress and the journey and the development going through the season. You want to see that, and it just doesn't seem like there's any progress or development. It doesn't seem like he's getting better or getting stronger.
It looks like he's getting worse.
Yeah, and is it the pressure on? Is it the pressure? In
And
regards
maybe
to
sometimes he looks like he's trying too hard. It's just,
Yeah.
it's just
And he's not there.
he looks like I'd say a League One player at present.
Oh, he's doing
That's what he looks like. It's real shabby.
You're doing a right.
There was that I think it was a meme or like a discussion point that was circulating in LFC fan groups on like WhatsApp and Twitter and whatnot. I think it was because of that Man U fan, Mark Goldbridge, was it Goldberg? I don't remember what his name is.
Yeah.
And he was making the point, and the fans were saying, I'd rather have Nunes than Haaland. And this was a big thing in pure different groups. It was going around.
Yeah.
Like we would have all seen it. And sometimes I think to myself, all right, is it that I don't have this fierce sense of loyalty that other fans have, or that I'm just a bit, I don't know, something wrong with me? But when man is saying this, I want to say to them, shut up, innit? Shut up. Like this is nonsense. One guy is the all-time Premier League record holder in a season, and the other guy has got massive question marks over his finishing ability, but you'll rather have him, and you're justifying this. When Michael Owen spoke up, Michael Owen, Liverpool, England wonder kid, Real Madrid, Ballon d'Or, last English player to win a Ballon d'Or, is giving you critique about Owen's finishing. I've got Liverpool fans telling me with force of conviction, who is Owen to tell Darwin Núñez about finishing? And I think it's to myself, Jesus Christ, is this where it's got to? I've got man actually scrolling through Owen's goals to try and make points that Owen can't score those type of goals. I'm saying to myself, Lord, have mercy on my soul. You got basic fans who haven't even recently even kicked the ball at a high level, telling Michael Owen that his critique of finishing is not adequate for Darwin Núñez. And I think to myself, all right, cool, innit? I get the game's about opinions, but one player's got a Ballon d'Or and basing his viewpoint on what he's done as a successful goal scorer, and you got these fans who just, so yeah, I think sometimes people get what they deserve in it. So yeah.
Darwin trying too hard. Please don't get me started.
The man's just toe punting, isn't it? The man's toe punting.
That's a toe punting at our playground.
The man's toe punting, bro. Like
I think the thing is, we know that he's a work in progress, and we also know that in terms of goals that he's scored, this is probably if we include Benfica in this is his second best goal scoring season that he's ever had. But it's still not enough for us. I just see what I think he played like 50 games for us this season and whatever, scored 18 goals, whatever. But I personally just look at all of the chances that he's missed or the opportunities that he should just have finished. And if we're looking to remain in contention of winning honours, we need more from this player, or we need more from an alternative player.
Yeah,
as simple as that.
Listen, I said it yesterday, man. Right now, I'm flipping swapping for Mateta.
Bro, listen, this is why we're brethren, you know? This is why we're brethren. Because today, I was watching the Palace highlights, and a small voice in my head was saying, Mateta's much better than Darwin Núñez.
Yeah.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Be positive. Come on, isn't that bad? I'm watching it, and I'm saying, right, hold up play, physicality, finishes his dinner, links play, backs up centre backs, runs in behind. Mateta's better than Darwin.
Right now, he's looking levels above him, bro. Head and shoulders. I ain't lying.
Is this in terms of development though with Mateta, right? Because was it what's his name? Patrick Vieira that bought him?
Yeah,
Patrick Vieira. In fairness, and I know that obviously we're looking at different attributes. A lot of Mateta's goals have come since the new Crystal Palace manager's been appointed, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So are you basing it on Mateta's recent form with this new manager, or are you basing it on his performances from when Vieira's got him?
Oh, no, he's got 8 in 9.
8 in 9.
Right,
so you're just basing it on recent form.
But I'll be honest, when I first saw him play, I thought, oh, this guy's blatantly good. Like he's handy. But obviously, like he'd watch Palace when they're playing against your rivals to see if they can actually do
a job.
But I just think he doesn't get a lot of chances, and the chances he does get, he does the right things across the keeper, low angles.
I think, to be fair, look, you can't ignore his recent form, but I think we've got to add a little bit of a huge sprinkle of realism here and go, this is 8 in 9, absolutely. But where was he start of the season, or the start of the season, or when is this his first season?
No, they were
alone. He's been there from 2000.
They were actually paying Edouard ahead of him.
But he's been there from 2020. This is the most goals he's scored. Most seasons he's only scored 1 or 2 goals, or like 5 goals. So I'm being honest. As much as obviously we're comparing Darwin Núñez and Arteta, if we were to be linked with him at the end of the season, I know you man will be coming on here cussing blood and hellfire, because he would not be the forward that we'll be looking at to say we're going to be challenging City.
Of course, but I think that puts it into perspective a little bit, that we're looking at Crystal Palace's striker and we're saying you're doing what our striker isn't.
But you're right, Doctor, because I was thinking the same thing. Like when we played against Fulham, I was thinking, and I'm sorry, I'm not saying that I want.
He's good, isn't it?
This player at Liverpool.
He's good. He's good.
I'm just saying right now.
Who?
The Fulham striker. He's good. He's good. Bro.
Oh, Núñez.
No, not Núñez. I'm not talking about Núñez. I'm saying when we played against Fulham, I was saying I just wish one of our players had the same approach play as this particular player when we played against Fulham. Now, listen, I'm not saying I want him at Liverpool. Iwobi, the way that he was played offensively with his approach, but I just kept thinking, if Diaz had just a little bit of his not Iwobi, I don't want Iwobi at Liverpool. I'm just talking about his approach play. I just kept thinking he's got a little bit more football intelligence than Diaz.
I'm side-eyeing now, yeah?
Please do, because that's what I kept thinking. I kept thinking, how is Iwobi?
You know what? We was all invested, right? We was all invested when he started with this conversation. Because we thought he was going to talk about Núñez. then he went Iwobi.
I'm telling you, I do not want Iwobi at Liverpool, but I'm saying Diaz should be having some of Iwobi's approach play. Because when Diaz first came to us, I know he got the injury. Diaz was not afraid to take on 2 and 3 players. Now he's afraid. It's like even if he sees the ref, he's turning back, or the linesman, he's turning back. His confidence is just gone completely. It's not good enough.
Yeah, but guys, like, listen, this guy has been like Núñez, or not Núñez.
Yes.
Yes. Come on, like, he's been our one.
What's happened?
He's been our one shining light in regards to their attacking light. He's had a couple of moments, all right, to the point of he's Papa laugh or kidnap.
No, all right, I agree with you as well. So you have to take into context.
You have to take into context, and I think he's been our shining light. And it's like, look, yes, he's in the last few weeks or whatever, he's not been as good, but still, I would still have him over Iwobi.
Okay.
No, so would I.
Hold on a second, man. So Vinny says our draws are what left us in this situation. We've lost fewer games than Arsenal, but we've got draws against United, Luton, and Brighton this season. So go figure. Tabri says, "Yep, Doctor, you have my vote. Darwin work in process without an architect or builders." So Mr. Thought of the Day says Simic has to go, but Robbo to stay. But he got one up yesterday and should be our second best left back. Need a new one. Curtis Jones too hot and cold. He can go Bournemouth. Isak in for Núñez. Jota injury times 10.
I agree with everything apart from Jones. What I would just say, Stoney, I think if we were talking about Diaz, say 2 months ago, completely agree. But I do think in recent games, I do think he's taken on players again. And that's been quite a key part of our play. And I think if you think about even against Man City, yes, I know that he misses that chance where Salah puts him through and he misses the goal. So we know that.
But what he did to what's his name? Kyle Walker.
Rodri. Yeah, I actually think his dribbling and take on play has been kind of good again still, but it's still not enough in terms of what was there before. Someone like Mane, and I know we're going to come to at some point in time. And I think just to make the point on Jota, Jota historically was our 4th best striker. Now we're saying realistically he's probably our 1st choice, even ahead of Mo. And maybe that's because of Mo's forms dropped off a little bit, and obviously Mo's a bit older. But the point is, someone shouldn't go from your 4th to your 1st, and you spent 180 million pounds on forwards. Don't make no sense.
Yeah, but why not? But that's the art. That's the beauty of football, though. In regards to you want someone who's a 4th. If you think that he's a 4th striker, and you now develop into your 1st striker, why not? That's a development. That's a development one. Darwin Núñez.
It's not just development. It's who his competition is.
Has Jota got that much better?
That's what you have to think of as well. It's not just development. It's who's his competition?
Has Jota got that much better?
So who do you consider, if Jota was number 4, who do you consider our number 1 striker?
What, back then?
It was, what do you call it? Back then it was, what do you
Mo
call it?
Mane, you picked one.
Mane, and Bobby.
Yeah, but then 3,
the original starting front 3.
Yeah, but 2 of the 3 have gone, so we've got to kind of, again.
Yes, of course. So he stepped up. But that's because he's just got better. Because the players that we've signed is good.
But I get what you're saying, but I do also believe, and I think we're doing a disservice to Jota. But I know what you're saying in regards to he's gone up in regards to the people of players' movement away from the club and the players that come in. However, I do believe that he's also got to number 1 on merit because he's our one striker who is accuracy wise.
But we've always known that with Jota though he's a goal scorer.
Yeah,
we've always known that's one thing.
I'm just saying he's developed. He has developed. He has got better. But I think we also got to give him the dues of okay. Even though the people around him are not quite the same quality, he's got to number 1 effectively through his efforts and through his performance.
Absolutely. He's there on merit, but I think the point is your 4th choice shouldn't now be your 1st after you spent 180 million pounds. Like I think that's worrying. Because I would say, for example, if we have Isak, is Jota still the number 1 striker? Isak actually costs less money than Darwin Núñez. There's other forwards that you could think of. But I just think
the other point of it then is if you're spending that much amount of money, should we be getting a goal scorer? Should we get a striker who is proven in regards to justifying that money?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I believe so.
And I think this is the point with the Núñez thing. And yes, I know obviously he hasn't decided the transfer fee, but 85 million pounds he will cost with add-ons. And I think right now it's probably at about 77 million pounds. When everyone's saying no, he only cost 65, half of it was on like appearances and basic goals. So this guy's cost us 75 million pounds, let's just say. And what are we getting? Like, we laugh at Jackson, and rightfully so, but Jackson cost 25 million pounds. We basically got flipping Michael Jackson after he done his flipping bleaching skin in Núñez for about 50 million pound more.
So Vinny says, imagine going to the butcher's, asking for oxtail to be cut in small pieces. He pulls out a butter knife to start cutting that. That sums up the front 3. We've got everything we need except the final finish.
Oxtail
is a sick note.
He is still.
And oxtail, are you been butchered lately? Oxtail is it's expensive right about now. Woo.
Still.
But another thing.
I wouldn't. I don't eat them thing there no more, bro. So I wouldn't know.
So you got vegetarian, have you?
Nah, man. Chicken and fish alone, bro.
Chicken and fish.
Chicken and fish. No red meat for me, bro.
Good mate. But yeah.
Lewandowski would have been got us better goal return than Darwin. Yeah, because he knows how to finish. So let me just put something to you, gentlemen. Hold on there. Whoa, before I do that, Demas is coming with something. He said, I'd take Jota over Jesus.
I'd agree.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't know swaps though, Demas.
Yeah.
I do like Jesus though.
yeah, he might. But the thing is, Jesus might play 5 more games for you, but he won't get as many goals.
He won't.
That's the
He
problem.
won't. I do think Jesus is a good player though.
No, he is. He is a good player. You know what I love? I love the way he brats, man, bro.
Yeah, this is it.
He does it with no manners.
Yeah.
He does it with he's like he's telling you, I'm going to brock you, bro. And he does you. It's horrible.
Yeah, but then if games were decided on how many times someone broke up another player, then yeah, he would be top world class. In his position, it's about goals. It's about
he gets assists though. I'll give him that.
His lack of goals do hold him back 100. And I think with someone like Jesus, for his talent and his ability, he should be better, if that makes sense. But something holds him back. But I just think, either way, yes, he might not finish that big chance. And obviously, that's a massive thing. But he's going to do other things well throughout the game. He's going to link up play. He's going to combine. He's going to take players on. He's going to create chances. So, if you play him right wing, he's going to give you something. If you play him left wing, he's going to give you something. If you play him through the middle, he's going to give you something. He might not finish off the charts, but you just know that he's a reliable player for his skill set. You know that what you're going to get from him.
And the ball's going to stick up front.
Can I just say that you lot are walking into Demas's trap? You start talking about Arsenal players.
Thank you. And you know what? This is the last. I'm glad Pred said that as well. Fair point. You're right. And so we're obviously speaking about build-up play and all the other stuff that Jesus has done. But as effective as this player has actually been for the period of time he's been in a Premiership, that is with Man City and obviously as Arsenal, his 2 best seasons, he scored 21 goals and 23 goals. Now, if my maths is correct, that's not far from what Darwin Núñez has scored this season.
Yeah, can you see Darwin Núñez reaching them figures though?
What? Darwin Núñez, what I'm saying, Jesus' best season. Can you
see Darwin Núñez reaching them figures?
But watch this though, Artie. Jesus' best season is 21 goals and 23. Darwin Núñez is currently on 18.
Exactly. Yeah. And does he look like getting any more?
4 more goals and he's in the same.
But does he look like getting them 4?
Nah, man.
He can't even hold a freaking ball.
I think
score a goal right now.
This is it.
I could give him the money and give him the postcode to the brothel and he wouldn't score.
So yeah, I don't
know.
Give
your card.
I'm telling you, I'd give him the freaking money myself, bro.
Yeah, he's
and think about it. Every time we played against Man City, Pep always played Jesus, either from the left or from the right. I just think he's got a skill set that is suited to big games. So, but I do agree. Yeah, if we're judging him purely as a goal scorer, then of course he comes up short. But I think as an overall footballer, I think he's good. But yeah, like Jota, and I've always said, I think Jota's got one. I think he's one of the best goal scorers in Europe, in my opinion. It's just fitness and other aspects.
As good as we've been over Klopp's reign, we spent a bag of money on some duds. Chamberlain, Thiago, Naby. These were meant to be to take us up some levels.
Oh, can I do a counteraction on that?
Go for it.
I think one's needed.
As much as we, who's the person who said that? Sorry,
it's Vinny. It's being controversial.
Vinny. So as much as and I agree with you, as much as we've probably had some duds, I look at the players that we've bought that have been successful that will outweigh the duds. So we'll just give an example: Van Dijk, Dominic, Alisson. I know we're still speaking about Diaz at the moment. Jota, Salah, Mac 10, Mane, Ibrahim. That's just 8 so far, right?
Bobby. Didn't bring in Bobby, did he?
Gini played good for us, didn't he?
Who?
Gini Ronaldo played good for us. Yeah. So if you think of it, those players that I've just mentioned, just only as examples, probably about 9, outweigh the 3 players as an example that have been duds. So I'm kind of cool with that. I can handle.
You know what? The Chamberlain one, like up until he got that injury,
he was on fire.
Because you remember that pre-season when
you remember what he did to Man City?
Yeah, but remember when we was playing him in the pre-season and he was playing behind the 2 strikers, And we just thought that season, that's where he was going to be playing. He said, unfortunately, he got that injury, and then things just went south again, man. But
but I think it's the same thing with the other two as well. Okay, Naby was a bit of a different one in a sense, but for me, why I wouldn't call them duds is because their skill sets were perfectly aligned to what we needed. They just had injury problems. In the case of Naby, he didn't have any injury problems prior to us signing him. Thiago always did, so it was a bit more of a gamble. But I just think we were 2 games from winning the quadruple with Thiago playing a key moment. So I wouldn't call them duds because I think injuries is what stopped them from showing their quality. With someone like Nunes, he's fit with a flipping time. Like, that's a dud. Like, hey, you're fit. You're just not good.
Do you reckon, based on what's happened with Naby's new club, do you reckon there may have been some issues with his little attitude and stuff when he's at Liverpool as well? Because he's been suspended by Werder Bremen, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's interesting, you know, because even though we knew that he was injured for a lot of time at Liverpool, I wonder if there's other things happening. But listen, I'm just saying, I don't know. I could be completely wrong and just rubbish that I'm saying. We never ever know.
You know what it is? Naby went to Liverpool and he had his bedroom there, innit, Mane. And then things didn't kind of, and then Mane's gone, and then Naby, in regards to his injury, I think there might be a little bit more to it. You know what? With Thiago, I'm more frustrated than disappointed.
Yeah.
Like, you know the quality that Thiago possesses.
Of course.
And I think a fit Thiago would have, I think would have put us into another level. I'm just frustrated that we didn't get the opportunity to see the best of Thiago.
But let's not forget some of the intangibles that Thiago did. So, that we won the FA Cup, but obviously that quadruple season. What Thiago did against Man City and the FA Cup semi-final was ridiculous. We were scoring bloody alley volleys in that with Thiago playing intricate footballs, flicking up to Mane, he's volleying it in. So, yes, he wasn't.
There's no doubts about it, man. He's a baller.
But
just
when
injuries.
Showed up.
Injuries.
Showed up. And we're talking like Champions League finals that we were in with Thiago. Yes, he gets the injury just before kickoff and that. But I think to call that a dud is harsh, Vinny. But Vinny's a man who will put, should David Moyes be the next Liverpool manager?
Oh, stop it.
Vinny's bad region now.
The United game in the cup broke this team as they knew they threw the game away and they ain't been the same since.
I think that's a good point.
Sabri says, Doctor, you need not only sort out Liverpool FC, can you sort out the NHS as well? No games equal, no influence equal duds. All the skills in the world ain't helping when you're on the operating table. Ross. He comes back firing, boy. Firing. Okay, gentlemen. Oh, man. Enough of this freaking nonsense with Everton, I tell you. So, the big talking points right now, gentlemen, is that Liverpool have made a 7.7 million approach for this Arne Slot geezer. I'm going to be honest and hold up my hands. I don't know too much about this dude, but I was listening to a lot of, eventually I decided to turn and talk sports today because I couldn't take it earlier on. But eventually I did. And it just so happened that when I can't remember who they had on the show. They had someone on the show and they was talking about Ruben Almiron and they was talking about Arne Slot. And he actually gave him a very, very good readout, man, about his skill set and how he would fit with Liverpool, his philosophy on bringing through youngsters and so forth and working on a budget and all that. And so I don't know, man. I don't know. But tell me, man, if you don't know anything about a bit more than what I do or how you lot feel, Demos is saying another Ten Hag incoming.
That's the one thing
minus the beard.
That's the one that I like. Listen, I think he's gone in and he's kind of torn up the rule book in the Netherlands in regards to bringing Feyenoord to becoming a force. And it's not just, Ajax or PSV Eindhoven. He's actually put Feyenoord in the mix. He's actually, got them winning their title last season. I think they're second this season and got them in Champions League. In regards to his brand of football, it's almost slightly similar to Liverpool. I believe that maybe there was a few tweaks in regards to technicalities of it, the technical elements of it. But again, it's one of those where there was quite a good or positive information coming out about Arne Slot and how he manages as a person, and how he manages as a manager, and his philosophy. And look, I think the steam is kind of generating in regards to his direction.
Well, they're saying that they've made a formal bid so far. What they were saying is really they were suggesting that it would take 10 mil and maybe 15 to get it over the line. But as usual, Liverpool have gone in with 7.7 to test the waters, first bid, as they do. But I was hearing big things about Ruben as well and how he deals with players and that. And now they're saying he's not a man who needs to rant and rave and shout. They're saying that the way that he talks, he's very articulate, and that's how he can get his points across and to make players understand. And that. So I don't know, man. I'm a bit torn between the two from what I'm hearing now.
I think Ruben's kind of, if all reports would kind of be believed, he's gone and spoken to West Ham. So is it a case of he's trying to inadvertently play Liverpool against West Ham, which is a bit of a dangerous game to play in respect to not trying to hammer the hammer. Excuse the pun, but I'm not trying to hammer the hammers in respect of who they are or what they are as a club. But for me, I'm biased anyway. If the Liverpool wants to come in for me, then I'm just going the wrong way in it. So it might be a case of he's trying to play a little bit of mind game, knowing that there's other managers that have been mentioned. He's trying to force Liverpool's hand in respect of, right, if you want me, come and get me. Otherwise, I'm going to go and speak to other things. And I think that's kind of backfired on him, because then it seems like they've gone and said, right, well, you know what? We've checked out Slot. We've looked at him. And this is Edwards now, isn't it? Edwards?
Yeah.
And we know that Edwards has got a very good record in respect of bringing people into the club, and they're being successful. So, to kind of watch space, but everything that generally has been said about Slot, I don't think I've heard anything negative about him, to be fair.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say as well. I've not heard nothing negative as yet. All right, before we get on to Stoney, Vinny says it's a typical LFC move that we go for a person no one has spoken about, and that highlights they've done their homework in identifying who they want. The talk of Alonso Amorim wasn't really coming out of LFC, according to Melissa Reedy. There was also a rumor of Gary O'Neill as well. That's jokes, man. Yeah, that's jokes. All right, Stoney. See, you've just refreshed yourself there.
Yeah, something like that.
Cucumber juice.
No, it's like sparkling water. There's no cucumber juice. There's a sparkling water. Do you know? I think I have to really be honest in terms of the approaches that we're currently making for managers. I'm still doing my own research and knowledge, so my knowledge is not going to be on the same wavelength as any of you guys. So my judgment's going to be limited until the next few weeks, until I get into my man cave and try and get some of my research and knowledge on it.
Okay, Doctor. I know Doctor's a man who knows his stuff.
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? So the day Feyenoord actually won the league last season, I was actually in one of them cafes in Amsterdam trying to light up a few of them spliffs and all that, and like trying to ting. It clearly worked for me because it was a rough night. But yeah, I remember being in this cafe and that got a bit of like a chocolate cake and all that with their smoking sniffings, and they're talking about Feyenoord won the league and this new coach and that. And I think what's super interesting is at that point in time, I never would have imagined he would then become our next manager. It's just weird the way like the world kind of works out in many ways. And they were raving about this guy. Yeah, like he's done really well at Feyenoord. Like he's kind of brought them from nowhere as well. So I think, yeah, like a lot of just your everyday Dutch football fans in this space were like quite positive about him. And I think for me, look, it just goes back to my views on just being really positive about FSG bringing back Edwards and bringing back a system, because I just think we've clearly got a model that analyzes coaches that are suited for what we're looking for. So can you overachieve with the resources that you've got based on how good your tactical systems are? Amarin wins the league in the third team in Portugal. Alonso wins the league with a team that hasn't won the league before. This brother wins the league with Feyenoord, and equally it was an Eze Alkmaar top of the league in the COVID season, and then the Dutch authorities then cancelled the league.
Yeah.
Before COVID. So we then see someone like my man, you've taken two unfashionable clubs, one that never wins the league, well, both that really don't really win the league, and you basically made them into title challengers. So then you think around what are your underlying numbers, what does that mean for LFC? And I think it basically means that we've got somebody who is establishing themselves as a very good coach, and we know what Edwards and Hughes are going to do is give the man bullets to fire. So we're going to give him good players that are going to suit his systems. So yeah, I'm super happy from what everyone said, and from what I've seen, it feels like his build-up play is probably a bit comparable to the Zerbi, and then his pressing actually feels a lot like Leeds under, who is that crazy? Bielsa, yeah. So it's a mix of like Bielsa's pressing and the Derby's build-up plays. It's going to be quite interesting, but I guess, yeah, it links for what we do. And yeah, I just have complete trust in the club. And I just wish Jurgen had maintained the trust in these guys who were there as well. So yeah, I'm super excited. Seems like he's going to play a 4-2-3-1. I love the idea of us having the number 10 again, or yeah. So yeah, super excited. And I think going back to the point about what someone made about Ten Hag, I just think the crucial thing is, if you're Manchester United and you're pointing Ten Hag, Ajax are basically the Man City of that league. Man United aren't that anymore. So he's coming to Man United, doesn't have the resources anymore because you've squandered a bag of money. There isn't the recruitment in place that's giving him the best players. So actually, his skill set doesn't transfer for what Man United need, hence why we're in the league 7th.
Something like that.
So
he was another one they was also talking about on TalkSport, and funny enough, what they said about him was that although he was doing this and that at Ajax and doing this, they said there was always this issue that they had at Ajax, and it was defensively, and it was something that he never addressed at Ajax. And they're saying that it looks like he's come to United and he's doing exactly the same thing. He hasn't addressed the defensive issues once again.
And again, it's fine if you're Ajax and you've got the best players, like the best weapons, the best midfielders, the best strikers. So yeah, if you're gonna have a shootout against a team, it's fine. Whereas the Premier League don't work like that. If your underlying tactical philosophy isn't sound, you're getting exposed. So yeah, I just think Arnie, his stats seem really impressive, and he isn't somebody who I would have mentioned a few weeks back, but I guess that's why Michael Edwards does the job that he does, man.
Big shouts goes out to JSY. Big shouts, mate. Thanks very much. We love that. Share, like, and subscribe, my peoples. So another thing, we was talking about Edwards, that's seems to be coming out of lately, is like Edwards seems to be trying to make it clear that making sure that everyone knows that he has nothing to do with.
I knew he was going to say that.
There's nothing to do with me, the man saying. He's doing the shaggy, bro. He's doing the original shaggy. It wasn't me. He wants everybody to know. Listen, that's, you know what? In a way, I'm kind of glad, because that's telling me, you know what? That when this new guy comes in, the chances are that Darwin might be gone. He'll be ghost.
Anything could happen.
You mean? So yeah. Listen, he's a player that if they say he's got to go. All right, cool.
But ain't that quite telling though? Because I think it's telling another story, and the underlying story. in regards to the relationship between him and Klopp and FSG. In regards to, it's genius to work out that this guy Edwards, who's come in, he's brought in these bullets, he's brought in these players that have elevated Liverpool, and then all of a sudden goes, and then in the other hand, Klopp's now saying, right, Klopp's made this decision out of the blue. No one saw this, and he's going, and then Edwards back in. So for me, I'm like, okay, I'm playing devil's advocate. Is it a case of, well, FSG have said, well, look, we don't want this guy going anywhere else because we've seen the work that he's done and
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I'm not going to let him go to none of my rivals.
Yeah, because Liverpool had tried to get Edwards back a little while afterwards. When we knew that, who was his protege afterwards? When we knew the protege was leaving, Edwards' protege.
Ward.
Thank you. We tried.
Sorry, don't need to interrupt you. Sorry.
Liverpool.
Then I was just going to say, I think that part was also telling Preds as well that you're waiting for the job for how many years. You get the job and you only last a year. But yeah, Stoney, sorry, apologies, bro.
No problem. And you're correct. I think I was just going to extend on what you were saying as well. And Edwards kind of made it clear that his company that he set up was to do with data and analytics and algorithms XYZ. And he had actually made it clear that his club was really on the forefront of creating all of that data in terms of sports management XYZ, so there would be no need for him to actually return on a club basis. But you're correct, Preds. There's now been a complete. Now we're not saying that club still. We're not saying that his company's still not going to bear fruit or lift off and excel. But he's now made a U-turn and come back to Liverpool. So maybe there was something happening between Klopp and him that we're not privy to. Maybe it's going to come out in the book soon.
100%.
We don't know.
No, I don't think it's not even maybe. There's 100%. There's something definitely going on there, and then now it's they reckon it's started to show now, and people are saying this is what happens when you give the manager too much power. There was also talk of as well that they reckon it's going to be when Klopp leaves, there's a mass exodus as well, not so much as of all players, but backroom staff. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Loads of There's they reckon there's a massive exodus as well.
That makes sense, and I think that's normal. In many ways, so
in a sense, like you got the assistant manager and you got a few coaches.
Oh yeah, no, those standard people are going, but they're talking a lot more than that.
They're
talking a lot more than that.
But I think just for context, though, with that stuff, that's because a lot of them, FSG, and because I can argue rightfully so, they gave Klopp influence to appoint those type of people as well, so like medical staff and the physios and that department that would have typically been, say, if you like, the sporting director's realm, if you like. Klopp made a lot of those appointments himself, so a lot of our rehabilitation and medical team, club doctors and that, Klopp's had quite a huge say in that. And I guess the question that I would ask to you this season is, would you say rehabilitation and injury prevention has been managed particularly well?
Well, I was going to say the same thing since you said that. I was going to say, well, have they really been earning their corn?
Well, who
players?
If we think of it this season, I'm just trying to think out of the top of my head. All right. So this season we've had Ali's had, is it a muscle injury with Alisson?
I think, yeah, it was a hamstring.
So he's had that. Ibrahim was out. Ibrahim was out for a little while.
Curtis Jones.
Cool. Nothing could have got done about Matip. You're right. Stefan has been out for a long period of time.
Yep.
Yeah. Obviously, we had Trent was out for a little while as well, wasn't he? Forget. I don't think Thiago don't count. Obviously, Jota's been in and out, and then Ben Doik. But other than that, there hasn't been any.
So for me, the three key ones are Szoboszlai, Trent, Mo.
Yeah. Okay.
All of them.
Mo's was done on international duty, though, in fairness.
But the issue is all of them re-injure the same injury that they've had when they come back. Like, that's That's poor preparation. You brought them back too soon.
Stefan was actually on the comeback.
Right.
He was actually on the comeback and like ready to be on the bench and all that as well. And he's gone back.
He does the same hamstring.
Yeah,
same hamstring he redoes. Trent redoes the same knee injury. Mo the same hamstring. So
is that a point then? Is that a point then in regards to if Klopp has been in charge of the appointments? Are we saying that Klopp is effectively appointing people who he can have an influence on in respect of, right, if I want these players, I want them back. It's your job to kind of patch them up to get the thing as much as you, or is it a case of Klopp's appointments are simply not good enough for our needs?
I don't know. Yeah, and I wouldn't want to say that in regards to those things, because I guess I just don't know enough about medical, and obviously you're going to have when the players fit, when they say they fit, when they're actually fit, and that's going to be a bit of a complex system. And I don't think I know enough about that, but I just think it's worrying when 3 key players have re-injured the exact same injury, because we know what it's like with football. You have a knee injury, then like you're out for a long time, the way your body has to then kind of like recalibrate. So you might then injure, say, like your groin or your hamstring or something else might go because things are just a bit kind of out of sync as you're coming back. But when you've re-injured the exact same injury, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And isn't like we then haven't paid for that because all 3 players were in great form. And if we just waited maybe, I don't know, a week, 10 days, they might, like, things may have worked out right now a little bit different. Because if you think about Mo Salah against Brentford, he looked like he was on fire. He played 45 minutes, he was killing it. He's come back again. He looks like half a man. So Bosley in absolute flowing. Trent, great form. Comes back too early and then re-injured the same injuries. I just think, I don't know, man. Like, just let people do what they excel at.
But I can't wait for the book and the movie and the drama series in respect of this the relationship between Michael Edwards and Jurgen Klopp, which at first it looked like a dream thing, you know. It looked like we finally got this kind of this dynamic and this relationship off the field, which was benefiting the club as a whole. And then this guy goes away. He goes and sets up his own. He goes out away, sets up his own business, and it seems like FSG has seen his business, seen his brand, and thinking, right, well, he's one of ours. He's one of our own. And then we've seen Jurgen Klopp brought in certain type of players, and has these certain type of players fitted in within the realms of what FSG want and regards to what Liverpool want. On the back of Edwards bringing in players that effectively won us our first title in God knows how many years.
There you go, man. And look, I apologize for the constant references to Michael Jackson. I think I'm having a bit of a walk down memory lane right now. But Michael Jackson and Quincy Jones created magic, but they clashed, so they couldn't work together for a prolonged period of time. And I think you get 2 brilliant people, and just because it meshes, it doesn't mean that it can mesh for a long period of time. And I think I wouldn't hold that against Klopp, because I just think sometimes personalities need something else. I do think it's deeply frustrating that they couldn't have prolonged it. But I think back to Artie's point, Edwards is basically saying this Nunez dude, nothing to do with it. Because this is another thing, right? We're saying he's potential, yeah? We're saying we're willing to pay £85 million for your potential. So what is your end product meant to be then? So if your potential gets realized, what are you then meant to be worth? What, 130 million, 140 million pounds? Like this is a big thing that Klopp's done. Because if you look at the baseline of where he was last season, you're like, whoa, you're gonna like. So I always find it interesting when everyone says about the Nunez thing. Okay, cool. If fans are saying to me, yeah, but we bought him for his potential, then what is the end product meant to be worth? Because I'm struggling, isn't it? I'm struggling.
The only
I think
the only
we
thing
all
I'd
are.
say on that is if we speak about end products, right? Even if he was to leave us, say for instance, I don't know, next year or the season after, I think for me, I've always probably looked at the way that the finance in terms of players have always increased. I mean, would we ever have envisaged? I know Chelsea got a completely different model, but you've got two midfielders there worth over £100 million each in there. You've got players and right backs and central midfielders going like astronomical fees. So it may well be, even though I know that we purchased him, as you said, add-ons and everything's at 85 mil. We may get that back within 2 season time, same amount of money, because there's been an increase in players. So the end product may be that we've had him for 2 or 3 seasons.
He stunk out the place.
In the view of him being potential, he may not reach the potential, but then he can move on and we still get the same value for him.
Who?
Nunes.
Who's going to get the same value for him?
No, I'm just saying because of the increase.
Yo, brother,
Listen,
put down the cucumber juice, bro. About sparkling water.
It's got white rabbit.
That's neat rum.
Never,
That's
ever,
neat
ever
rum.
know.
Stoney, stop it, man. Stop it.
Stoney
We
sipping on his
never know.
You know what happens certain time. You know when it starts to get late, a man gets tired, a man starts to talk a bit. You know what I mean?
Who's
Stop
Darwin
it.
Nunes' agents? We need
Stop
to find
it,
out
bruv.
whose
Listen.
agents is, man.
If he starts to go out for sale now, bruv, man's gonna be offering a £5. I'm telling you. Last offer will be £750.
Oh gosh.
I'm telling
That's
you.
It's like Klopp has gone in, like he's gone, right, I've got rid of Mark Edwards, and now I'm gonna lump in on a marquee signing because we've got this, and he's done it, and this is what I hate. This is what I don't really want. I hope this is not the case. But has he done that? Because how Darwin Nunes performed against Liverpool against us last season in Champions League.
Absolutely, Prince. Absolutely, in my opinion. Absolutely. I think Klopp watched from the sidelines and thought, no striker gives my centre backs the work that you've given them. Like, wow, you are something. And I think I get it. Darwin was great against us. But you can't sign a man for £85 million based on how he's performed against your team.
Another thing that they said was that Liverpool never sign players on the back of having one good season, and we've now done that twice with Darwin and Diaz. We normally wait to see what happens in the second season before we sign them.
That's called Edwards, man. He's looking at what's form versus what's quality. Like, what's a hot streak when you got one of the moments where anything's going in and everything's going in versus what your numbers. And I just think, look, there is a reason why we uncovered so many good players the period of time. It was not luck or a hunch or someone gambling. Someone somewhere clearly had a method of identifying top quality players. Like, there's too many signs of it to be a fluke. Like, way too many. And yes, a couple didn't come through like a Naby Keita, but we can't fault the thought process behind it. That makes sense. So I just think the man knows what he's doing.
But like Stoney kind of identified, there was a lot more positive signings and successful signings. There have been dud signings. So you're absolutely right in regards to the philosophy and in regards to how we are identifying players to elevate Liverpool. There must be something in it, and for FSG to go and say, you know what, we want that element back. We've tried it one way. Want that element back, because I mean, in effect, was it Klopp who signed Thiago?
Yeah, Thiago's a Klopp signing. 100. Age, Klopp. Injury profile, resale value. That's not Edwards.
And then
definitely not.
So there's others that you probably identify with, but then the big two are Nunes, Thiago, and at this moment in time, like I said, with Thiago, it's frustrating because of his injury record, X, Y, and Z. And with Darwin, like I said, it just screams at me to say. But then Darwin Núñez weren't the only striker who battered us up last season. So was best on my back. Was he the best of a bunch that hurt Liverpool? Like,
Cody as well. Apparently, they wanted the brother from West Ham. What's his name? Kudos. Yeah, like apparently that's wanted for that extra forward role rather than Cody as well. And I just get, you know what it is? Like, you know when someone's just got a formula in it, you just got to just like let them do their thing in it. You just got like, you might not like it because you might want to have a bit more, but sometimes you just got to kind of acknowledge when someone's just got something. And there's a reason why we were so good. Ian Graham, obviously, who Edwards has formed the company with, I can't remember what they call it, Ludonomics or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Like, Graham's literally the person who has created the model that the rest of the Premier League use to judge the value of if a signing is going to be a good signing or not. He's actually created a system where he judges it on 5 or 6 different criteria, and there's like an overall score and the rest of it. So the people who are creating these models that other clubs are using, but at LFC, like one of the brothers who I think now might be our head of research is a scientist for that research scientist companies at CERN or like whatever they're called, that are sending rockets to the moon and rockets into Mars and whatnot. And that these are the man who we've got at the club, innit? Like he's got geniuses, like he got the nerds, and I get it. Football hasn't always appreciated the nerds because we've got that manly culture and you haven't played the game, you haven't done it. But we've seen with the likes of the Jose Mourinho's, the Arsene Wenger's, the Rafa Benitez, we've seen these guys who weren't good players, but they were just good at management. And I just think we've got to shift away from that view of you have to play the game to know the game, because I just think things have evolved.
I mean, I agree, mate. I think it's kind of, you have to evolve with things, innit? And football has evolved significantly over the last few years, well, over the decade.
Crazy.
And at the end of the day, it's one of those that somebody's come in, it's been implemented, other people are taking them on board, are taking on board with it. And if it's something that's coming in board, then it's something that you want to try and achieve to be the best at it.
Question, yes. Sorry, like, I was going to say, Artie, like you're looking to wrap up, because I do apologize. I'll talk all day.
Oh no, go for it.
I was going to quickly say, what would you do, and what do you think that the new manager does with Trent? Because I guess my premise to the question would be, Kenny doesn't want to be a defender anymore. Like, what he did for that second goal yesterday, when man's actually flinching, I said, "Nah, Trent, you're right, taking liberties." But it is what it is. It is what it is. But I just think, in general, he clearly does not want to be a right back.
No, I think I would have to actually play him in midfield.
Yeah, I would as well. I mean, we're not secure enough to play that kind of that inverted right back, inverted in the midfield role. We're not structured, not there. We haven't got the play. We ain't got the stability, the disciplined players, the ones who are bought. You know, with the disciplined players. I mean, I'm talking about the water carriers, the ones who are, you know, are going from side to side, shoring up spaces, making sure, like Fabinho done.
He can would have been great right now.
You know, going across, letting Trent do that. I think now Trent's evolved in respect of his passing practice is now becoming sublime.
Listen, who knows? Football's crazy. We might see a Gareth Bale part 2. Remember what Harry did to him? He moved Gareth Bale from left back and made him left forward. The new manager might move Trent from right back to right forward. We don't know. Football's crazy. It's unpredictable, man.
Yeah,
Trent's scoring more goals than Darwin right now. Absolutely. Like, you give Trent them chances, the way he strikes the ball. Actually, but still, I do think you make a good point. I generally think if we play him in midfield, I'm not quite sure what role in midfield, but I do think he becomes one of the best players in the world certified. I think we just got to let like the boy play now because he just got too much ability.
Yeah.
Like, too much.
So VW says that next season is going to be very interesting in terms of clubs with new coaches. The NFC Doc series is going to be interesting watch. Remember, Klopp weren't happy about that. Very true. To be honest, it says a lot about our progression under Klopp when we're sitting here so frustrated about being third. Remember the final days after Brendan and the mediocre 10 years prior to him. It's clear, though, that Klopp, as he's confessed, has taken NFC as far as he can. Trent is the biggest dilemma at NFC right now. Thank God for Conor Bradley. And will Trent even be at NFC next season?
So I've got 2 points on that before we go.
Trent in midfield all day. Let him do his thing. And wham for Dominic Szoboszlai as well.
You know what? It's interesting if Arnott Slot does come in, and and Dr. Blake's kind of recognised and identified that his system is a 4-2-3-1. I don't believe that in regard to Trent's prowess, his passing, I don't believe Trent's good enough to play that number 6 role.
Agreed.
However,
I don't think so. He has to play further forward.
Yeah, but if he plays further forward, then you lose that long-range piercing passing that he likes to do. He likes to sit back and he likes to sit from deep and he likes to deliver those passes. So could it be a situation where we do a 4-2-3-1 where you've got someone who's next to him who allows him to play in that particular way, and then you've got your Mac 10 who plays in his more familiar number 10 role. Like, there's so many dynamics. I'm starting to think but then again, I think the Real Madrid conversation in regards to him going to Real Madrid, for some reason I can't get it out of my head. It's in the back of my head.
I think if we let him play midfield, he stays. I think if we're asking him to stay fullback, I think he'll have I think it's more of a consideration from just simply because of how he wants to play. And Arnie Slot systems, from what I can see, like his fullbacks are proper, got off the ball rolls and get up and down the flank. So basically, you almost want like two Robos in Robo speak, up and down, back and forth, crosses in or passing from wide. And I don't particularly think Trent wants to do that, but I do think you want something. I think maybe Dom moves over to the left. Potentially, if Diaz goes, obviously it's not going to be in a 4-3-3. It's going to be a bit more narrow. And you've got maybe Mac 10 in the 10, Trent next to a destroyer because it needs to be a destroyer. It's going to kick man. Like, you need someone to kick man in it. Like who that is, I don't know. But yeah, I think that's a strong team, man. I think that's a very strong team. If the sports scientists can stop Nunes from toe punting, then it can fire, man. Like there's some real scope for it.
Nunes is gonna be at West Ham by then, brother. They're taking over from Antonio.
That's a great move for him, you know.
You never know.
West Ham pay money.
Yeah,
It's true.
Let him go to the Hammers, mate.
Would you send to West Ham for like 65?
Yeah.
I'll take that all day. Listen, I'll drop him there myself. I'm telling you, no joke, bro. I will drive past West Ham on my way to Liverpool to go and pick him up and clean come back here, bro. No joke. That's to make sure that they're doing it. Yeah, I'll stop in there first. I gotta pick him up now. Yeah, what you saying? Definitely okay. See in a couple hours.
So do you know what? I'm gonna contradict myself here, right? And I've been scathing of Nunes, but because of the range of his attributes, there is the sense of if, and obviously that if is becoming even bigger. If he could pull it together, he could be a real problem, innit? And
Darwin.
Yeah,
No,
I just think,
bruv, if he could finish,
yeah,
he could be a real problem.
because he's got a lot of physicality, pace.
Yeah.
He's got decent feet. You can see a pass. He's got a range of finishing. He's got a good left foot, good right foot, good in the air. So you can see.
Yeah, but concerns me though, sorry to cut you. You know what concerns you though? Concerns me is when we watched him and he played against Man United, and he was 1-on-1 with the young boy making his debut.
Yeah, come on.
And the man was 1-on-1 towards him, and I'm thinking, look, you can do something.
Yeah.
And he did not have any idea what he to the point where he's stumbling over the ball and the man just pickpocketed and said, yeah. And then the man, yes!
Yeah.
85 million pound striker who's 1-on-1 with not to take no disrespect to the lad. You know, obviously he's good enough to play in that level of football, but you're 1-on-1. Like, do something. Like, drop your shoulder, get past him, do something. But he kept tap, and then he's tripping over himself, and that's where he's more of an instinctive finisher. Darwin, in regards to the build-up play, in regards to, I hope he gets better and he develops. I'm just saying, I'm just a bit concerned that you want to see players develop as they go along, and I've not seen too much develop in regards to what is he learned, like the hold-up play, bringing people into play. I still haven't forgiven him for the Man United Cup game, where I've still haven't forgiven him for that. I've just about Curtis Jones for doing a field ball against West Brom 2 seasons ago. So it's going to for me to forgive Nunes in what he done, what he created at the FA Cup game, because it's had a knock-on effect.
Okay, so we're saying if West Ham, so West Ham's a good shout because realistically, teams on the continent haven't really got money like that. What's the minimum you would accept for him?
For who?
Nunes from say West Ham. West Ham come and say, "Cool, like we want him."
If I've got to be totally honest, bro. 40 mil.
That's a big no. Do you know what? The thing is,
that's like triple done.
Has he shown you any more than that?
When Isak goes,
No.
So
be realistic. Are you going to go and pay for more than 40 million for him though?
They would. Teams will pay, but yeah.
I said, are you?
Teams will pay that.
I didn't say teams. I said, are you?
Brother, you know I could do with 40 mil right now. I would not be buying a footballer. I'm just saying that. I'm just putting it out there.
Would you pay more than 40 million for a player like that after you've watched him? Hell no. Hell no.
I'm trying to think. He's got strikers. Because what Tony? Because what did Brentford want for Tony?
Yeah, no. Or listen, I might even be consider a deal. Give flipping, what do you call it? Let Fulham give us a 20 million Muniz. I might even consider a deal, mate. I tell you.
Just do a swap deal for Isak, man.
Yeah. Like, you know what? He's another one though. His injury record's a bit suspect though.
It is.
It
actually is.
That's another issue. That is my one concern with him.
He doesn't play enough, man. But obviously, what he does play is absolute class. But I agree with you, Artie, on that one.
I can't see it already. I can see already LFC and our new style of play, aka the slot machine. I think that Robbo may be on his way too. Then he says, "What?" I think he's talking about that comments about that. What we're talking about, Darwin.
I'd keep Robbo simply because I think we've lost a lot of experience, and yes, he isn't what he used to be, but I would still keep him. But I would be looking to sign somebody to be the new starting left back.
Ain't Nori.
I think he's dope. I think
Nori all day, bro.
And even a guy from Fulham, I think is good as well. I'll take either.
Robinson.
I think he's good still. But Nori would be my first choice, 100.
Yeah.
And I think, you sign him. Robbo's back up. He can rotate. You move on Costas.
But you see the key thing that you guys are speaking about, and I know it's got nothing to do with it. You know that so much of players that currently play for Liverpool in the Premiership are all underneath the same agent as Darwin Nunes. Or that player that you're speaking about from Wolves, he's underneath the same management team as well, you know. So he's
Seen. Yeah, with an even more reason because
Yeah.
boy, we've given him a real squeeze if Darwin.
Yeah,
Because he must have
guess the
eaten
food
from that
before.
Darwin transfer. He must have
But yeah.
eaten big from that. Big.
Same agency, man.
I think our biggest, the Robbo part, yes, the left back, yes, is a problem. Well, not a problem, but it's something that we have to deal with. But I think initially, yes, Darwin's going to be, we're going to be talking about Darwin for quite a long time. I think that the more pressing thing is about Mo Salah. I think that's the most pressing kind of situation that Liverpool need to sort out because
pressing for me. Sell him.
Gone.
Sell him.
Gone.
There's no pressing about it, man. Just sell him.
It's time.
Simple as.
Time.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Legend. You've been one of the best in the Premier League ever. As I said, you're probably in most people, if they're being fair, their best ever Premier League 11. But I just think ultimately you can probably get about 100 mil from Saudi. You've got a year left. You're on 400 a week.
That's gone down now. I think that was last season. I reckon 70, 80 mil now.
She's still good.
Still good for him. Still good for him.
78
400k gone. You got Matip's wages gone. Thiago's wages gone. I think we're then in a very good place to reinvest the money with younger players who kind of suit what the new manager wants to do. I think it's time. Yeah, for me, I think it's time. I'm not sure if Mo wants to go, and I was always of the view. Yes, the money's tempting, but I always got the view that Mo enjoyed playing top level football. Being in the Premier League, breaking records, scoring goals. Like, I just think so I'm not sure if he particularly wants to go to Saudi yet, but maybe the money would be too good for him to refuse and he'll go. But I just still see a competitive spirit in him. Like, he wants to be top goal scorer. Like, he still wants all the smoke, but it's just not happening, I think.
No.
When was the last time you saw Mo Salah strike the ball properly?
Thank you.
Cut in and bang, and you've either whipped it properly or you've laced it properly with power. Like, everything is just like powder puff. It's like these little floaters and
just like Klopp. You know what I mean? It's run its course. It's time to go. Simple as.
Well, it's cement time, yeah.
Yeah. End of the road.
Yeah.
End of the road.
Yeah, it's time.
Run out of road. Gentlemen, I must say it's been a blast. All my panel. I must say, big shouts goes out to everybody, man. Listen, we could have been on here till tomorrow quite easily. I'm telling you. Quite easily. Seriously. But Freds, I must say, it's been a pleasure, my brother.
Been a pleasure. Always amazing to be with my panel. Love it.
Okay. Stoney.
Yeah, no, it's just good to be back. As I said, it's been a brilliant show, and I agree with you. We could have continued speaking until next week. But before you just pass over to Dr. Blake, Preds, if you don't mind, you're going to be involved in something quite important and special on Sunday. Do you want to make sure the listeners know about coming down to the ground on Sunday?
Yes.
Yeah. We've got a charity game on Sunday, the 28th of April. It's at Hayes and Yedden Football Club, and it's for a very good cause. A very dear friend of mine who's going through illness at the moment, with regards to he's going through a cancer treatment at the moment. But yes, we've got Hayes versus Yedden Legends team, and we've got some really big players. And I've been told today that Sir Les Ferdinand will be making an appearance.
Nice.
And the MP's also going to be making an appearance. Whether they're going to be playing is another thing. But yeah, it's going to be a really good special occasion. And like I said, it's for my very, very dear friend Darty Brown, who at the moment is going through a situation in his life. So
what time, Fritz?
The kickoff is at 1:30. But knowing that we're all organising it, it'll probably be a little bit later. But 1:30 is kickoff time, and listen, we've got loads of activities for the children. We've got panini stickers, we've got bouncy castles, we've got jerk chicken drum there as well. It's all happening at Hayes and Yedden Football Club. 1:30 kickoff. it'd be a great occasion.
Brilliant. Well done, Stoney, for remembering that. Actually, I was meant to say that. Brilliant. Yeah. If you can make it, peoples, get down there and support. It's a good cause, man. It's all for a good cause. Doctor, my brother.
Yeah, man. I think anyone who can go to the event that Prez mentioned, please do go. It is a valuable community effort. And yeah, Sunday I will be repping Spurs. Harry Kane, my guy. Son to the world. Like it's the Harangating. So yeah, like we're all going for the Spurs on Sunday to shut down the goodness. So yeah, we're Harry Kane for life on Sunday. So yeah, that's where it's at.
All right, peoples. Do remember next week, same time, same place. Catch us right here from 10 o'clock. You know the deal, peoples. You know the deal. So don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. And we will be back next week.